Thanks to everyone joining this broadcast this hour. It's a great day. It's happening right here, right now on the African Portal Radio TV International here in Pretoria, South Africa. I have one of the very own in the studio that will be celebrating his birthday in style on the African Portal Radio. We put this together to honor him and as well to celebrate God's faithfulness in his life. He celebrates his birthday on Friday, and we put it upon ourselves to have him on board on the African Portal today to have a conversation with him and to celebrate God's faithfulness in his life. Let me take time to welcome everyone that is joining us. This is Joshua Awesome on the African Portal Radio TV International. Give you opportunity to introduce yourself to the listeners at home, who you are, where you are, and the position you hold in society. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Kindly introduce yourself at home, who you are, where you are, and the position you in the society.
It's a great day. Greetings to you and to all your listeners and viewers. My name is Joshua Awesome. I am a coaching psychologist with special focus in the area of stress reduction. I am humbled and grateful to run a coaching psychology practice in Sandton City in South Africa. I'm grateful to also sit on what is called the African Board for Coaching, Consulting, and Coaching Psychologists. I last decade founded what is now called the African Institute of the Mind, with an interest to help Africans mind their minds, one mind at a time. As you had indicated, yes, I celebrated my birthday on Friday, and it was my 45th birthday celebration. Very special for me because we basically unpacked a new phase of the work that we do to be able to better impact Africa and by extension the world. It was an unpacking and unveiling of what is going to be called the Calm Center. And the Calm Center basically will be 100 suites calm facility that has the feel and tone of a hotel, but has the functionality of a hospital. And we will basically be focusing on mental health, addiction, and trauma recovery. So I have the last 2 decades plus put to my focus in the area of enhancing people performance, getting them into what we call a state of flow. And I would also indicate that I have been a positive broadcaster from my professional perspective. So that is it about me. And thank you for having me here.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And I want to thank you for accepting our invitation. Though it's a short time, but I want to thank you for accepting it. It's a great pleasure to have you on board. Let me quickly take you to the line of history. You celebrate the five birthday last Friday, which is a very great day and a very beautiful day. What is that day? What does it mean to you? And what is the world needs to know about that day, the awesome day?
Okay, so World Awesome Day basically is 16th of April. Um, it is my birthday, but aside being my birthday, every year we take it a notch higher. And the African Institute of the Mind owned the day specifically because many Africans see mental health as a taboo. And I have come to learn lately that when you have a better brain, you can have a better life. So many of us are not informed, aware of the state of our health from a mental perspective, and that pretty much is affecting, a whole lot of things that is happening to us. So your brain health and your brain is like the hardware and the software, and that helps your brain to be able to properly function. So I mean, the weekend for me was specifically to draw people's attention to mental health, and then to also help people realize the work that we do and we continue to do around the world with global organizations and brands that have come to see the work that we do. I mean, over the weekend on Friday, I had, I think, about 25 nationalities represented um, at the birthday celebration. And it was humbling because it happened virtually. So for people to be able to make such time to be part of something like that, I remember my friend uh, um, Laurie J. Cameron, who's based in Washington, D.C., who had a year ago also supported this same work. My friends at Google, Bill Duane, who was the head of well-being for Google, had also joined us in the past. And it was very humbling to be able to get, a colleague of mine in the research community to also chime in all the way from Canada for this year's World Awesome Day. Many people, heard her talking about her work with the army and government of Ecuador, which I have been privileged to do some work with also in the past. To global CEOs of organizations like General Electric was also on the call. Um, to interesting Africans chiming in from Kenya to Nigeria, the land of my birth. My elder sister too was one of those who shared her perspective. To the former HR director for Chevron. So again, all these people have had direct contact with me by virtue of my work the last 2+ decades. And so for them, it was an honor to be part of something like that. More importantly, we're going full steam into acquiring some health centered technology breakthrough equipment, some of which I will be, flying over to go and have meetings out in Switzerland, and at a laboratory where one of my colleagues in the research world oversees. And basically, one of the interesting thing about that is that many people get to only benefit from the value and the work these people do via an app. But I will be in that lab at some point within the next 90 days or less. And then we'll also then head out to Romania, where I will be having, strategic meetings with somebody who sits on the European Union board from a health and wellness perspective. And it's humbling for me as an African to have this access to be able to do things and connect with people who are doing stuff out in Europe, out in America, out in North America in unique ways. One of my colleagues who was also on the call, very humble, but the reality is that she has direct access to President Joe Biden. As a matter of fact, I remember her sharing a photograph of her and Joe Biden with me. So I said all of that to say this, that as Africans, we have so much to offer the world. And we just need to realize that it is important for us, to not, feel less than who we are. We carry unique potentials, capabilities, possibilities, and it's just important for us to, take and own our space and stage on the planet. Thank you.
Believe me, I really appreciate you for that information that you actually space, because I'm part of that birthday celebration. I have opportunity to see the dignities, the kind of people that come through to celebrate that day. We got to see that fella something.
Yeah,
I think
Fela
it's the one
Drotoy,
that
he
is
was a
one
former
of the
presidential
Nigerians.
aspirant in
That,
Nigeria.
yeah, Peladroto, yes, also aspirants in Nigeria, which is one of the great achievement that I actually celebrated on that day as well. But having said that, let's quickly look at the journey so far, the ups and downs, the ugly and the beauty. I mean, what is life like? I mean, on your side, what are you the world? What are the experience? What are the things that you've seen in the last 45 years? It have been a lot of things that have happened. What do you have for the world?
Well, look, the reality is that for me, life is long and it's lifelong learning. Um, I do not, think that any experience I've had has been a challenge or an obstacle. I see life from a different perspective. And so I either learn from an experience or lead from it. So uh, um, when I think about my life, I'm grateful for one very important bit of it, uh, um, clarity. And I don't know if you remember a short video that we imputed in the celebration, where I was actually in a consultation with a client in my coaching psychology practice. And the first statement I made
Hmm.
was that clarity births mastery. Now, the reason why
Hmm.
I am able to do what I do is because I have clarity about where I'm headed, clarity about where I was coming from, clarity about who I am. And that's one key thing that has helped me journey this far. I knew who I was going to become at age 15, and that pretty much inspired my
Hmm.
speed and my continual success. I think one of the best things anybody or any parent or any person can do for themselves is to have clarity about who they are, know who you want to become,
Hmm.
and then begin to work in that direction. I think back to my life,
Oh.
being born to a family that had three sisters. Uh, um, my father, and mother continue to support us from an educational point of view. But aside that, they also embodied some of the values that I have lived with up till today. Very hardworking people, genuinely loving and kind people. Um, and that is one of the things that I want to believe has helped me thus far. um, I have taken my career from, back in the days, some 20 plus years ago, where I started out as a motivational speaker. And from starting out as a motivational speaker, Fela Drotoye, who also was on the call, is one of those who recognized and respected me for the way I did what I did back in the days. Um, my career then transited from that point to wanting to get into learning and development. It led me into further education. It led me into affiliations, and some of which I am still going strong on today. It hasn't been an easy journey. I have had challenges, but I think I've learned from them. And when I say challenges, I've hired people who have stolen from my business. And I'm speaking money here. They've scammed, us, as it were. Even some of the cases had to go to the police. And the police were trying to explain to us from their perspective to say, look, the fact that they work for you, we would not call it, a scam because, they had access to your company. And that basically for me is also helping me to come back to what I had said earlier. We live and then we learn. So I have learned how not to do certain things by restricting the type of access that people have to me. If you ask me how much money have I lost the last plus, in business, I have lost over 2,225,000 rands, and those are staggering figures. And you see, it's quite interesting. The numbers are numbers I can't forget because sometimes you can't believe when you hear some of these things. 2,225,000 rands. That is a lot of money. But the reality is that we learn from these things. And it's brought me to this place where, and I think one of the things I'm excited about is that the experiences you have, if they trigger you, then it means there's still some work within that you need to do. See the way I'm talking about it and I'm smiling, it's not a big deal. And the reason is because they don't trigger me. Money is a tool and we can earn money again. We can, the important thing is that we should work on ourselves. And many of us need to continually do that, improve ourselves in ways that helps to shift our lives from the state it is at. You see, because if you want to go up, you need to grow up. And growing up is not just bodily growth. It's the growth in between your ears, your brain, your heart, your life, and unlearning some of the things that have not helped you to further advance and take your career, your life mission to the next level. I mean, I'm excited to see that you've taken your work from the African Portal. And I remember when I met you, you basically used to have only a book related stuff, and seeing you transit this into a radio and virtual TV kind of thing, I think it's some growth. However, there's still some work to be done, and for me, this is how we grow, where we review what we have been doing and then asking ourselves, what can I do better to better make it advance? And one of the questions I always ask myself every day, and I challenge you, sir, to ask yourself at the end of today and every day of your life going forward, what went well today? It's a question every one of us should be asking ourselves. What went well today? Or you can rephrase that question in another way. What worked today? And how to be able to answer that question is you then narrow it down to a person, okay? Because it's people that enable people to succeed. So yesterday, when I think about my work, somebody, that is a data scientist walked into my practice yesterday in Santin City. And he was introduced to me by someone else who also has his office in Santin City. I mean, the building is about 12 floors. And I'm on the 9th floor in Santin City. And so there's this gentleman who is also African. And he introduced this other gentleman to me. Now, when I thought about my day yesterday, what went well yesterday was meeting that data scientist, because that data scientist works for one of the big banks. in Africa. Interestingly, there's somebody who is the chairman of that bank who I have known for maybe 20 plus years, but I have lost contact with. So connecting with that person is unfolding what is about to emerge, which is me reconnecting with that person. And by virtue of doing that, I'm able to do sudden, interesting new work across the continent. Now, so when I think about what
Wow.
worked well yesterday, it is that person. And that's how we grow in gratitude. It helps us not to be in a state of, what I call brain hijack. And this is a scientific term. Your viewers and listeners can check that out. And because you see, gratitude has a way of helping to massage our inner landscape, as it were. And I believe these are very important details that every one of us can benefit from. Thank you.
Mm. At the same time, let me quickly just check this with you. Is it okay as well when we are looking at what went well? Can we at the same time look at what went wrong on each and every day? Because probably from what went wrong, we can also derive another idea of what to correct ourselves and move on. Do you think that makes sense as well?
So here is the thing about what you just explained. Uh, um, the brains, the wirings of our brain as human beings, we have been conditioned into a negativity bias, and that is also scientific, by the way. And so when a negativity bias has burdened our brain and become our way of thinking, when anything happens, the first thing most people want to think about is the negative side. Now, if you have lived on that pathway for a very long time, the reality is that you will not see the good that is unfolding in your day. So,
Hmm.
yes, we recognize the challenges, but I would not, give it my attention. Why? Because when you give attention to attention, what you focus on begins to grow. And so it is important for me as a person who is a positive broadcaster, uh, uh, um, and I was trained by one of the best in the world, the father of positive psychology, Professor Martin Seligman. And it's important for us as human beings to understand that this has a way of impacting and affecting our outcomes. It has a way of impacting and affecting what we get from life. Doesn't mean we don't recognize the challenges. I mean, between yesterday and today, I think I've kicked maybe a brick. But if I keep my focus on the brick that I have kicked, it will feel like a mountain. Okay?
Hmm.
And so that's why we need to, yes, we recognize it, but we don't take note of it. Why should we be taking note of it? We should move on. So it's better to focus on the good, and the good helps us to grow in further good. So let me cap that by saying this: when you are grateful for something small, gratitude becomes grand in your life. You find more to be grateful for.
Wow.
And it
Wow.
helps you as a person. It helps your health. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at my life now. I have not had a reason to be checked into a hospital for as long as I remember. The only time I was booked into a hospital when I had a small accident as a younger person, and I sat on the glass, and so they had to book me in for surgery. That is the only time I remember. Uh, um, and so these things have a scientific health advantage, by seeing the good. We also call it the
Hmm.
impact of your autonomous nervous system. So if you hear something negative that happens, maybe via a telephone call, you have not seen the person or been in the situation, but purely by hearing it, it affects your mood, it affects your emotions. And the reason why that happens is because we are as healthy as our cells. So your cells eavesdrop on your thoughts. So if you allow
Hmm.
negativity or a challenge or a situation that hasn't been very positive to infuse your cells, it will affect your health. And so that's the reason why we encourage people to look for the good that has happened in the day.
No, I like that, and that shows the professionalism and who you are and the kind of things that God have deposited in you. And I love that. I took you that tricky. I mean, I took you through that tricky way for me to get it. Thank you very much. History. There is a time in your life that you Kilimanjaro. Can you tell us what?
Okay, so um, the signal is not too clear, but I hear you. If I heard you
Okay.
clearly, you were asking me to tell about my mountain climbing life. Am I correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. So
Yes. That's
Kilimanjaro
correct.
is one amongst the mountains that I have climbed. And as one who is of Nigerian descent, I'm Nigerian by birth, so I am the first Nigerian to climb Kilimanjaro with the Nigerian national flag. I did it the second time in honor of Nelson
Wow.
Mandela for his 95th birthday. If you've ever had any educational connection with University of Cape Town, there's an alumni challenge that they usually recommend, which we call the Three Peaks Challenge, and it is all the mountains in Cape Town. We are told to climb it in a day. So I've also climbed all the three mountains in Cape Town in one day: Table Mountain, Lion's Head, Devil's Peak. And all three mountains were successfully summited in one day. But all those are old. Uh, um, the latest mountain that I've climbed is actually called Mont Blanc. Now, Mont Blanc is one of the tallest mountains in Western Europe. Um, and it sits on three countries. It
Wow.
sits on France, it sits on Switzerland, and partly sits on Italy. That's the last mountain that I climbed, and I also climbed it with the Nigerian national flag, but climbed it with an interest to bring attention to mental health. You would have heard me talk about mental health a lot. Um, and the reason why I sometimes
Exactly.
use mountains as a focus is because a lot of times things are happening inside us that we don't understand. So there is science to what we call a mental muscle shift. When I climb mountains, typically when I'm getting to the high altitude, and Kilimanjaro is 19,340 feet above sea level. So when I was climbing Kilimanjaro,
Wow.
I remember I couldn't feel my fingers and my toes as I was getting to the summit. Now, the same thing was happening when I was approaching a very cold piece and portion of Mont Blanc, and I couldn't feel my fingers and my toes. But here's the different advantage to doing something over again and finding what works. Okay, I began to develop what I call a mental muscle, which is like a mental agility of sorts, and it's part of my work. So I was able to breathe heat to my toes from Mont Blanc. Uh, um, and basically, my feet began to feel warm. Uh, um, and this takes a lot of mental work and mental strength. Okay. And I'm saying this because I believe your listeners and those who might watch this maybe on Twitter, or on Facebook, on YouTube, to realize one thing, that the power and possibilities in your brain has not crossed your mind. Okay, so there are certain neurons, that are wiring and they are firing. Okay, they're affecting you in some way, and it's trying to fight, it's trying to flight. And sometimes it freezes because of a scary situation. We can redirect all of this to our advantage, and give it what I call fiery strength, to be able to work for our good. And that's what I have learned to do from my mountain climbing life. And hopefully, I will continue to do it. Uh, um, Everest is still on my radar. Hopefully, should the pandemic permit, sooner than later, I will be doing Everest Base Camp, and then hopefully eventually do Mount Everest, to basically, conquer myself, and also help people to be able to, get more mentally agile.
Thank you very much, Mr. Joshua. Awesome. I mean, Dr. Joshua. Awesome. It's a great pleasure to have you on board on this conversation. We don't bring you here to actually ask too much question from you. We bring you here to celebrate you, to wish you long life and prosperity, to celebrate God's faithfulness in your time such as this. Is time to give you a tap in the shoulder and so well done for all the great contribution to the African continent. Well done for raising the banner up high there in the rest part of the world. Well done for all the contribution that you are actually contributing to this beautiful continent. We really appreciate it. And I've invited so many people to come and celebrate with me in the studio, as we already informed them that we're going to have one of the African citizens that we want to celebrate his birth, and we want to celebrate his achievement as well. So in the next couple of minutes, we're going to have some dance in the studio just to celebrate and appreciate God on your behalf. I'm gonna take you back home. I'm gonna take you to your spirit belong. I'm gonna take you back to the motherland. I invite Baba Ebenezer Obey to come and help me celebrate this beautiful day with you, and to dish out some of his music to appreciate the great work that you are doing in Africa. Very focused man. And one of the things that I like about you is that you are very focused and very determined on what you want to do. Every time when I meet you, I never regret. Let me your face that you are kind of person that a lot through your meeting you is a blessing to me. It's a great blessing to me. And I want to celebrate you this hour. I want to say, may the Lord bless your new age. May the Lord bless you in all you do. So let's quickly have some time of celebration. Those of you joining us, please share, like, comment. It's happening raw on the African Portal Radio TV International here in Pretoria, South Africa. My name is Dario Oluso, and I'm coming to you live from the studio here in Pretoria. Let's enjoy this. Let's, as you are stepping in, if you don't understand the lyrics, you can dance to the beat. Please, let's enjoy this. This man deserves this. Please, let's celebrate him. His birthday is on Friday. I host him on the African Portal to celebrate the day. On this occasion of yours, happy birthday to you. Many happy returns. Congratulations, happy birthday to you. 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 On this occasion of yours, happy birthday to you. Many happy returns. Happy birthday to you. On this occasion of yours, happy birthday to you. Many happy returns. I hope you are enjoying that music coming to you. Ebenezer Obey dishing it out raw on the African Portal to celebrate this great man for what God have done in your life and what you have achieved so far. So before I let you out of my way, let's quickly look at the year coming. Where do you see yourself in this business in the next coming 10 years? And what should people be expecting from you that is coming very soon?
So our company has basically transited from one core focus of learning and development into a multi-focused brand. And the parent company is officially now called Awesome One Holdings. And Awesome One Holdings, less than 60 days ago, officially was issued what is called the NHRBC certificate for our real estate division. And our real estate division is called Midway Property Group. The Midway Property Group basically is going to focus on building a 100-room calm center, like I mentioned earlier. And this calm center basically is going to sit on 8.5 hectares of land. A land that has before now has been used for farming for over 30 years. The owners of the farm prior to now used to every day fly vegetables to France. It is humbling that I will be taking over, that land for this very great purpose. I remember one of the meetings and strategic inspections we did. The owners showed me a tree that was planted in April. And not just in April, was planted, and is still living on that land. And so it's humbling for me to then take over the land and begin to, restructure it for the work we want to do. And so in the next 5 years, the Calm Center will become a melting point for Africans, and by extension, those who have mental health challenges or burnout, to come and rejuvenate in this facility that also has a water therapy chamber division of about 15, water therapy chambers, to our breakthrough stem cell regeneration chambers. And I showed a short video of that during our very interesting celebration. These are no mean feats. There are colleagues out in the US who use this already to assist people. I mean, I have one or two contacts who, while talking to them about, some of the things we'll be putting in the Calm Center, that they have used when they had some health challenges. And it helps people who have had, surgery, and they've had a bypass surgery, and it helps them to further heal faster. Those who have recovered from cancer. Lately, my colleagues around the world are using the same machine to support people who have had COVID, to fully get restored from, an internal respiratory kind of support. Having said that, the next couple of things we will be doing is we will be launching our own line of multivitamins. And those kind of stuff that we will be doing, as a matter of fact, one of the AstraZeneca research executives is one of my contacts. And I will be meeting with him on my next EU trip because there is some brand of water soluble multivitamins that are going to be specifically manufactured for us. And when I say us, I'm speaking Awesome One Holdings. And basically, the interesting thing about this is that currently the world knows about multivitamins, and that is said to help the body at a 15 to 20% range. But a water-soluble vitamin, that one will help impact the body from a wellness perspective up to 95%. And one of these interesting things are some of the things that we will be unfolding. A whole lot of things also will be on the emerge. We would have not just one calm center. We will also, have a whole lot more that we will be doing. So we will have our calm center in South Africa, and hopefully we will be having, clients fly in from around the continent for well-being related support. And these are some of the things that, we will be doing in the next decade, thereabouts, from building wellness suites in South Africa to hopefully taking it across the continent to countries that are open to such stuff. And some of these breakthrough technologies would also be taken there. If not, we will continue to build and expand it here in South Africa. And the exciting part of it is that is our goal and our dream, to 10 years from now then get listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange as a wellness and human flourishing brand. So that is our 10-year goal looking forward. And hopefully we would also have, content that will support our work from a media perspective. And when I say media perspective, there is a film that Netflix is actually commissioning that talks to mental health and sexuality, that I have been invited to act and play me, Joshua Awesome, on that film. And the filming has been going on even during the pandemic.
Wow.
And my scene and my portion will be filmed in Seychelles. And that's another phase of my life that will be unfolding in the next couple of years, with a couple of movies that basically focuses on mental health, addiction, and trauma, because that's my particular area of focus. And many more of it will be coming up. I'm grateful for the Health and Wellness Committee here in South Africa that will be looking at what is called Mental Health Index Africa. I had privilege to join that committee just recently, and it's a postgraduate program that will be happening in the Western Cape, University of Stellenbosch, alongside University of Cape Town. And the chairperson and I were in contact recently. So these are some of the things that will then emerge, creating content that helps Africans to better focus on our mental health. And we will be telling more of these stories via film. So those are some of the things that Africans should be expecting in the next decade from Awesome One Holdings stable. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joshua. Awesome. Well, I really appreciate your time on this broadcast this hour. Before I let you go, let's just quickly get something out of this conversation, which is your advice to the people regarding mental health, because you talk more about it and a lot of people seems not to believe about it. But in times to come, we'll be engaging you more, and I'm looking forward to a kind of partnership regarding that will be having on board, having a section for you where we'll be talking mental health to create awareness around it and to let people know about it. So, your advice to the world about the mental health, most especially to Africa.
All right. So I think one of the things everybody needs to do more of is to care for themselves. So, and when I say care for yourself, we have come to realize how important breathing is by virtue of COVID. And if you feel anxious, you're in a state of anxiety, and you're worrying about what life has, what life holds, I think the first thing you should do is to pause and then take deep breaths. And we call it deep breathing. And deep breathing has a way of getting to the bottom of your tummy. And when you breathe in deeply, it actually helps to calm down your nerves. It helps to put your brain in a calm state, which science has shown and proven eventually helps your immune system. Now, many of us do not know that as we grow, many of us are growing out of this habit. Children, a newborn baby breathes deeply. That's why you hear they are breathing, you know, uh, uh, um, and you are even wondering if they are okay. The reality is that they are more okay than adults. And so what adults need to do is to return back to the breath. Okay, so that's the one thing that I'm going to leave with anybody. The second thing that I'm also going to leave with your viewers and your listeners is the need for you to think of your brain. Okay, um, when you have a healthy brain, you will have a healthy life. Now, many times we're not giving our brain the right kind of support. So one of the things that helps brain health is omega-3, okay? Now, multivitamins are good, but omega-3 are best activated and accessed for brain health from the sea. What do I mean by that? Okay, anything that comes from the sea is very high on omega-3. So we're talking fish, we're talking salmons, uh, um, we're talking some of these crabs, shrimps. So I'm saying eat more stuff that comes from the sea, uh, because there's high level of nutrients and nutrition that will help your brain health. Because if you have a better brain, you will have a better life. And I think the last bit of it, is to work on your consciousness. How do you work on your consciousness? Be more, aware. So, for example, many people tonight, when they are going to bed, even if they live alone, they are not going to bed alone. They go to bed with their cell phones. Now, your mobile phone could be detrimental to your health. So keep your cell phone at bay, okay? As a matter of fact, the light that comes from the cell phone, if you are in bed with your phone, it's actually reducing the amount of sleep you have. Now, the amount of sleep you have is impacting your health or not helping your health. So typically, many of us don't listen to our body. We don't sleep enough. And so what I tend to do personally is that I keep my cell phone in my lounge. Okay. When the alarm goes off, I get up from the bed and then I go out to the lounge to switch off the alarm. That is movement, and movement in itself is medicine. So these are the three things I'm just going to leave with your listeners and hopefully your viewers, to take it very, very seriously, and think of, how to calm yourself. Put your cell phone out of your room when you sleep. Think of your brain health. Eat from the sea, and be more aware of how you breathe, and basically this can then help you have a better and more mental healthy life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Joshua. Awesome. I really appreciate your time and the advice that you dish out to my listeners out there. This is a very, very great opportunity to have a great man such as you on the cast this hour. And I know if we call on you again, you'll be happy to be on the African Portal Radio TV.
Thank you so much for having me, and thanks to your listeners, and thank you to Mr. Oluson for your kind invite, and thanks for celebrating me today.
Thank you so much. We wish you long life and prosperity. We really celebrate you. To everyone listening to us, we celebrate this great man. He's doing so well. I hear a lot of people say that, no, you don't look 45. You don't look 45. Wow, what are you using? Anyway, and people already said that to you, that whatever that you are using, bottle it, bottle it, and sell it. That is our advice for you as well. Whatever that you are using, the anti-aging formula that you are using, bottle it. And I love that. I love that. One of the things I used to tell people, because I received that a lot as well. A lot of people that I've met, like even the childhood friend, they keep on telling me, "Come on, what's your problem? You are not aging. What is going on? What are you using?" I say, "No, I have anti-aging, and that anti-aging is that I laugh a lot." So whatever that you are using that's keeping you look younger every day,
Mm.
buy it and sell it. God bless you. Keep shining,
Thank
keep
you so much.
smiling, keep enjoying God's grace. You are doing a great job. We celebrate you. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you. May the Lord bless your new age.
Thank you.
We see you again by the grace of God as we'll be stepping out. We'll be enjoying this song. Everyone joining us, please share, comment, let it go viral. Celebrate this great man as we'll be stepping out of this program. We're dishing out this to you to enjoy. Thank you very much. Enjoy this music before you go. We
Thank
really
you. Peace
enjoy
and
it.
abundant
God bless
blessings
you.
to
This
you
is
and
for
all
you
your
for your
viewers.
birthday.